We are Nerd Cult Online, and this is Orcs Must Die, Deathtrap from Robot Entertainment.
Welcome, war mages of the Order. As you well know, with the defeat of the corrupted Rift Lord Vorwick, the Orcs no longer fight united under a single banner. A great victory, yes, but our fight is far from over. Now, our enemies have splintered into 4 factions, each led by a powerful general seeking to be the next ultimate ruler of the Orcs. Due to infighting and competition, the Orc armies have spread into the far reaches of Order territory, attacking rifts once thought to be safe. These rifts provide the magic needed for our kingdoms to flourish, while the Orcs use them to satisfy their hunger for flesh and zeal for conquest. I myself have taken on the mantle of Order Master until Master Cygnus is found. A role much undeserved, but our alternatives are bleak. And as Master, I ask you, war mages, to defeat these wannabe warlords and bring peace to the Order. In other words.
Now, for those that have never played Orcs Must Die in the past, it is essentially a tower defense game that's, more or less in the third person and, puts you basically front and center. The animation style has been pretty consistent between each edition of the game, or franchise rather. And now, I don't remember the first game, which was the only one I had actually played before. I don't remember it having multiple characters. So, it was cool seeing all the different character options and how they all had unique abilities. Now, one of the first achievements you can get in the game is actually by watching both those tutorials that it has highlighted there. I personally decided to skip it because I'd played the first game before and was expecting something along the same lines. So didn't spend a lot of time in tutorials at all, which is pretty common unless I feel like there's an achievement related to completing the tutorials. Now, that item there are about 5 of them hidden. One right there, one on top of that ledge, which that ledge, I only found one character that can actually get up there, and that's the bear. His ability allows you to actually leap really high and really far, and used it to kind of explore everything. If you collect all 5 of them, you will actually unlock a new character, which out of all the ones that I've tried, definitely seems to be the most overpowered. Just with the speed of his attacks, the range, and just overall abilities, it seems like the best way to go. So I would recommend unlocking him first to make the game much easier for yourself. Now, obviously, or not really obviously, but so you are aware, there are achievements also based on which characters you complete missions with. And so, if you are a completionist, you will need to play through with each of the characters, regardless. So, might as well get some of that out of the way as you're starting out. Especially since the first mission is going to be one of the easiest ones to play. Here, it gives you basically, area to practice the skills and abilities so you can get more used to the character. And that way, you have some skills and muscle memory before you actually get into the thick of it. Now, as you run around the keep or whatever, you do have lots of opportunities to kind of explore your abilities and test things out and kind of learn how your character works. And doing that the first couple times with each character is definitely going to make that transition to the actual stages a bit easier, because now you know more about how they behave. Like the cat here, the third ability on the right, it looks like she's leaping off of something. So, you'd think that would help you like clear larger gaps and get to further distances. But it's actually just a means of shadow travel, where you move faster and you can't really be seen by the enemies. But, you do get where you're going a lot faster. And so, figuring out those, idiosyncrasies between each of them will definitely make the actual missions a bit easier for you, so you know what to expect from your character. Further in this area, you'll see this later on, you can actually upgrade your traps that you use, as well as upgrade some of the abilities and things like that for your character with permanent upgrades, because you basically collect skulls during your missions and use that as currency. And here we are starting the first mission as the cat. Like I said, you will need to go through with every character if you want all the achievements. I don't know if there's any benefit to doing all of the characters other than getting the achievements, but definitely for achievement hunters, doing the first mission is definitely an easy way to go, and kind of replaying it and going that way. That way you get that credit, but you definitely need to progress through all of the missions in order to defeat all the generals and actually get to the final stage. But these items right here, wasn't really paying attention to what they did for me. I was thinking that these were some sort of trap, and they're actually just barricades that force the enemies to go through a specific path, as opposed to another direction. And most of the enemies eventually will break through, but it allows you to at least force them to go to a specific area, so that way you can control that traffic. The other items that you saw me put down right just before that was essentially a vampire bear trap, and that is unique to the cat, so something only she can do, and that allows it basically bites or closes on somebody that just steps into it, and is meant to essentially stun them at the same time while injuring them. And each time that it gets used, it actually adds it back to your inventory. Same with the barricades. Once one gets destroyed, in the next round you get to place it again. And then you just got to make sure that you are accounting for each of the paths that the enemies are going to take. And I only noticed the one path. I didn't notice that on the map those two yellow symbols are actually the two paths that are going to be open for the next round. And so I literally spent everything on this single path, which obviously was a big mistake there. And was looking around and seeing what other options I had for traps to kind of force that path for them. And turns out that clearly I was making some big mistakes for my first time, and that I should have been also stacking them at the other entrance as well.
Let's slit some throats.
So here the hordes are basically coming through, and the ones that are veering from the normal path, it's because they basically identified me as an immediate target and went after me. And again, here I was deluded into thinking that this was the only path they were going to be going, and so I thought this was going to be a pretty easy mission to go and to do, and that I pretty much had this locked down quite easily. But as it progressed, clearly I was mistaken. But you know, the one good thing though, while doing this, is you always have the ability to replay missions and have another go at it, unlock more skulls, and essentially try again. And visually the game is absolutely stunning. And the gore and mayhem, it's cartoonish and it feels almost tasteful in that regard. And I definitely really enjoy that aesthetic. And from what I recall of the original game, it very much fit that as well. And so seeing that they held true to the roots, definitely is a positive for sure. And the gameplay in the original as well as this one is just a lot of fun. Thoroughly enjoyed it. That drummer guy, he actually basically buffs the enemies coming through. Basically makes them harder to hit and makes them also in turn hit harder. So they're able to do more damage and become a bigger risk at that point. And so you want to. I always make sure I prioritize them. You'll see some guys with like these giant canisters on their back. I've yet to find out really what they do because I've always killed them before they have the chance. And real quick, when you finish a round, you are able to pick a card, which is essentially an upgrade, and then continue on. And for the first mission, there's I believe 6 waves, and the second mission, you'll see a little bit of that, but was not able to actually get all the way through it like I was with this one. And that's more to inexperience with the map and not knowing where to expect all the troops to come from eventually. And so this game really does test your strategic skills as you play. I'm betting that there's probably achievements based on how effective you defeat everything, and essentially if you have like a flawless victory where they do not injure the rift at all. So like right now, I am headed towards that, but because of not being aware of the other paths, and there I actually read the map wrong as well. Not being able to notice the other paths definitely opened me up to more of those attacks and allow them to get through and do some damage eventually. So something to be aware of. So there are, I believe, 4 different entry points on this map, and so they're all ones to kind of be wary of. But if you pay attention before setting all your traps, it'll actually show you basically ghosts of where the troops will go, and then as you place defenses and stuff, ones that like the barricades that block that path, it'll show where they reroute to, so you can basically plan ahead for those things. And so again, planning ahead and using the map to your advantage is definitely going to help you go far. Where because I read it incorrectly and went to the wrong place a couple times, again, it opened me up to damage where those guys were actually carving out chunks of the rift. But as it progresses, as time goes on, it definitely becomes more and more challenging. But overall, the game is a lot of fun. Thoroughly enjoyed it, despite not being able to last nearly as long as I thought I could. It is obvious that the more difficult stages are meant to be played as in a group, and so there is online matchmaking. Unfortunately, whenever I did play prior to doing this review, my game partner that was also provided a code, he unfortunately was not online whenever I was, and so we weren't really able to play it together and take that any further, but we do plan on doing so. Talking to a few people, the playing together, it definitely makes for a much better experience, and definitely makes these missions a lot easier, because now, while one person is guarding one entrance, the other one can be doing the other, and it's going to be a much easier time protecting the crystal. And knowing that you can play together with at least one other person is great, but it makes me wonder, how many people can you really play with? And if I had to venture a guess, I'd say at least 3 to 4. But again, I have not tested that to its limit to see, what we can expect there. But again, overall, the game looks fantastic. The gameplay is a lot of fun, albeit challenging. And I love the detail in the characters, and how different their abilities are and their skills. And so it makes for actually a very enjoyable experience and unique experience each time you play. And so that way, you're not as likely to get bored as quickly by just playing the same character over and over. Like I found that I really enjoyed playing the cat, and also if you fall in the water, it's an instant death, which then also hurts the rift as well. But when you when playing the cat, like she's very fast, and she basically carves up the enemies quite well. And but that keeping that in mind, like I was saying before, the character that you can unlock when you find all 5 of those gems in the main keep, that will actually give you the strongest character I've played in the game. And so if you take him into battle, you're probably going to have a much easier time than if you were to take somebody else. But that's it for this episode. We actually have another 7 minutes of footage of just the mayhem and mostly me losing. So feel free to stick around and enjoy that, and check out the second stage, as well as the little bit of footage we have of getting the last of the gems, and showing that character as well, and how powerful he is.
Let's put on a good show. Serve me well, Trap. Let's hurry and get to the stabbing. We're going to be good mates, old Trap. Gorgeous. I'm good, but I can't do this without barricades. It's fine. I don't need to see over it. Just the thing to stop them. Chomp, chomp. And now the fun begins.
May the rift bless us today. You got it. These things take time.
I'll get right to work. Let me know how this performs. For the Order.
Our fate.
So here's where we are trying to get to the last gem piece to unlock the character. Try doing the special jump ability from there, and definitely didn't make it. You actually need to go pillar to pillar to get to that ledge, so that way you can get up there, and that will be how you get the final one. That's the only one that you can't really get just by wandering around, besides the first one I mentioned that was part of the archway that was in the main corridor with the rift. And so here I am jumping from pillar to pillar, and I found using him, once you get to that point, being the easiest way. And then there's Maximilian unlocked. And that's it for today, and I will catch you all next time.